Round one of the college football playoff is this weekend, James, and we are going to break
Ooh.
down each of the first round games before we head into action this weekend. If you are joining us for the first time, make sure you are subscribed to us here on Big Game Energy. Get us on Instagram and get us on TikTok as well.
Heck
James,
yeah.
we'll start with the Friday night game.
Ooh.
Alabama traveling to Norman, Oklahoma, and this one has some big game energy rooting interests in it. Your Alabama Crimson Tide and my Oklahoma Sooners. We are going up against each other this weekend, James.
You know it, brother. Friday night, it's only between two of the greatest crimson color teams in the land. But you know one thing for sure, a team wearing crimson is going to advance versus a team wearing crimson in the second round versus Indiana. And I think it'll be my Alabama coming into Norman. I don't give a, you know what? I don't give a piss about the last two losses versus Oklahoma. I don't give a piss what happened 4 weeks ago in Tuscaloosa. There's one thing I know, and I'm betting Alabama just like Willie and Drewski. I don't give a piss about nothing but the tie, baby. But in all seriousness, Oklahoma is the play. But I am rolling with the Tide.
Why do you say that?
So I'll say it like this: as much as everyone will probably say, "Oh, Bama's a one point favorite," throw all your money on the Bama. You got to look at two things. Kalen DeBoer has obviously been outcoached by venerable. Okay, I can't believe I messed up his last name. Coach Kalen DeBoer has been outcoached by Oklahoma 2 times in a row, one on the road, one at home. Yes, if you want to look at the last home game, you could easily have said Alabama probably should have won that game if you cut out the 3 turnovers in the special teams. And that's not how these things work. And when you go on the road to Oklahoma and Norman, Boomer Sooner, anything can happen. And I do believe this is going to be a bloodbath when it comes to the defensive side, because I do believe Oklahoma's got a top tier defense as well as Alabama as well. But like I said, if I was betting my money without no bias aside, I would probably go with the home team on this one. But I got bias on this side, and give me the Tide. Woo! Tide! Matter of fact, Ty Simmons, you better show up to this Friday night. You have not played well this last month, and man, that is concerning.
I'll say this, James. It's funny. I actually have the exact same sentiment as you, but flipped because I am going to pick the Oklahoma Sooners to win this game as the home team, the only home team this weekend that are underdogs. But I would actually, even though I'm going to make that my pick, I would put money on Alabama to win just for a couple of reasons. One, Alabama is the team that's been there, done that. Oklahoma's finally broken through, and Brett Venables finally having a good season in the first time in arguably his tenure at Oklahoma. But I always look at big games like this in playoffs on any level, in college or the NFL, and I look at quarterback play. And for me, I look at Ty Simpson and John Mateer, two quarterbacks who have struggled down the stretch, but I've seen so much more good from Ty Simpson this year than John Mateer. John Mateer had a hot start to the season, and then he's been hot garbage since then, if we're being real about it. Now, some might say there was that injury before the Texas game. He rushed back from it. He's not fully healthy. That's here nor there. He has a game this Friday. So if he's healthy, if he's not healthy, whatever version of John Mateer we have been seeing, that's not going to cut it to me against an Alabama team that, yes, got beat pretty badly by Georgia in the SEC championship game, but that's Georgia. That's a wagon. I think that Alabama, I think they're going to get it done. But, James, I am not going to pick against the Oklahoma Sooners. I think this defense is up to the task, and it could be ugly, but that's going to be my pick.
Well, Spencer, I can't pick against Alabama, and I think this defense will step it up and do what they need to do to advance versus Indiana.
Miami is going to College Station to take on Texas A&M. Texas A&M favored by 3.5 points. James, where are you leaning on this one?
Yeah, this game, I'm glad to see A&M in the college football playoffs. For all the Aggies, I said, this is our year. You are finally in the picture to finally say that. Now, in all honesty, picking against one of my childhood teams in Miami hurts for me to do. But man, there's no way I can bet against A&M and their defense. Mike Elko has done a phenomenal job. I know they laid a real big egg in Austin versus the Longhorns, but hey, when you get that rest, you can get recovered. And I know Miami's on the rest as well. They come off of a very impressive win versus Pitt. They will get things rolling. But I will say this, Spence, as much as I am picking A&M to win, seeing that they're only 3.5-point favorites, I will probably put my money on the Miami spread, but I'm picking A&M to win. I'm going to go 27-24.
Yeah, I actually love A&M in this game. I cannot believe they're only favored 3.5. I'm going to bet that line. I bet that they cover because I tried so hard, James, to believe in Carson Beck at the
We
beginning of the
try.
year. I wanted it to be real. I wanted him to be legit. And there's just been too many times this season in Miami's what I would deem disappointing end of the season, though they did flip flop into the college football playoff at the last minute. Shout out Notre Dame. But Miami is not a team I think is a true contender. I really don't. They're the ACC chip in, right? They're not even the conference champion. Now neither is Texas A&M, but Texas A&M is a one-loss team that I think is a step above this Miami team. I think Texas A&M gets it done comfortably, and I think Miami continues to help the narrative about, oh my God, the ACC is ASS, and it'll be warranted.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, I can't imagine what College Station and Kyle Field will be. But I will say this, Spence, we can agree on this. The only problem with this game, why on effing God's earth is starting at noon? Out of all the teams you could have put at noon, why is A&M in Miami at noon? That's the only thing that kills me right now.
I'm not sure. Now, James, I think for these last two matchups, let's just talk about them together because I want to ask you just one question. Ole Miss is favored 17.5 points to Tulane. Oregon is favored 21.5 points to James Madison. Which of those teams has the best chance to pull the upset? And do either of these teams have a chance to cover those spreads, in your opinion?
So if I had to pick between the two, I'm going to go with Tulane over James Madison when it comes to who has the best chance of upsetting their opponent, just because number one, these two teams, Ole Miss and Tulane, have already played once. Yes, Ole Miss beat the snot out of them by 5 TDs the first time. Point spreads at 17.5. So why is it not higher? I'm not saying it's because of Tulane. Of course, you know you're going to hear some of the rumblings. What is this Ole Miss team going to look like without Lane Kiffin? Of course, the head coach for Tulane, who's technically the head coach for Florida, he's going to be coaching this game. So you already know you got film on Ole Miss. Of course, this game is back in Ole Miss where they lost originally. And of course, the things that can help Tulane, I will say, is probably the weather expecting in that game. You're expecting 11 miles per hour per wind. Maybe it slows the game down. So out of both of these teams, I'm going to go Tulane with the best chance to upset somebody, but also they're my pick to be the only one to cover the spread.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I think Tulane has had some close games and even had some impressive wins on their record, but this is just pathetic. I can't stand the college football playoff rules that we have these two jokes in this playoff. And I'm sorry, that's harsh, but I just look at this 11-6 matchup between Ole Miss and Tulane. Imagine if this was, and I hate to say it, and I will always like dunking on them, but imagine if it was Notre Dame at Ole Miss. I would be so much more hyped for that game. That game would be so much more exciting. And I think probably the spread will only be about 2 or 3 points. And it might even favor Notre Dame because Ole Miss don't have a coach.
Right.
I don't know.
I'm with you.
It's
Yeah.
a bummer.
It definitely is a bummer, and we get why they expanded the playoff, and we get why they wanted to include everyone, make it feel like March Madness. Think that, oh, maybe there'll be a Cinderella story. Basketball and football are just so two different sports that when it comes to football, you need the best teams out there, not participation teams. And I will say this for James Madison, the only dub they got so far is their social media team as of late,
Yes.
commenting that they will run through Oregon if they're playing this slow because Oregon loves shooting videos in slow mo. So, other than that, yeah, I have no hope for James Madison. It would be amazing if Oregon was the choke like that, but at the end all be all, you got to go all the way to Oregon. James, you're in Virginia, so it's a haul for you and to play at 7:30 Eastern time. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think overall, I think we both agree. We both agree one thing. We have Oregon and Ole Miss advancing.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
No upsets here. We're going to basically watch Miami, Texas A&M, and then we'll watch the first quarters of both of these other games, and that'll be that. The games will be over. So we have the Aggies, Ole Miss, and Oregon, and then we are split on Alabama and Oklahoma. But y'all let us know in the comments who are y'all's picks in the first round of the college football playoff. We'll see y'all next time.
Roll Tide!